Okay, just a few more things to wrap up here. We've got to put the diamond plates on. So these reinforce joints at strategic areas, specifically between the front wheels and the rear wheels. That's where it's most important. I've hit the back side with some weld-through primer, just to experiment a little bit, you know, see how bad that screws me up. I've also made some caps for the back of the frame rail right here. I just want to cap that off so nothing can get in there. Critters, insects, dirt, you know, stuff, debris. So I'm going to go through and put each one of these on. The first thing I need to do, however, is behind each one I got to pretty much weld my, grind my weld flat, which I've already done on this one. And I'll just clamp them on, tack it. And then I'll probably flip it up on its side to weld that just so I can hit it all at once. And hit the other sides and all that. So I'm going to continue around and get the ones I can get right now and then flip it up. We'll tack them first and then flip it up. Okay, you can see I've rolled it up on its side. I've got the chassis going along here. So these are the plates I have to put in. Now I don't want to grind off more of my, my welds than I absolutely want to or need to. So what I like to do is just take a Sharpie, trace out where I'm going with this. And then I know my kind of my limits of where I need to grind to clean up everything. Oops, get back up there. There. So now I'll pull those off, grind that up with a 2-inch roll lock. And just kind of pay attention to where I'm cutting. Okay, so remember a lot of these, all these joints in here, I cut V's in them so that they've got really good penetration. But still, I don't want to take more of the weld off than I really want to. So just flatten it out so the piece lays on there nice and flat, and then stitch it up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one now. Okay, I think that pretty much concludes the frame kit. I got all the diamond plates on. I like to add, I don't know if I mentioned this before, I like to add some tow hooks to, you know, if I'm ever hooking this thing down in the trailer, it's super easy to hook up. Got all my welds done, I believe. I don't see any more that I have missed. I've been marking them with yellow tape, little bits of yellow tape every time I see one. So I think I'm good. So the next step, I've got to flip this thing up, put some riv nuts in a few strategic locations for the gas tank mounting, ground cable, stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's about it. That pretty much concludes the frame kit itself. Now there's a bunch of ancillary pieces that I still need to build up, like the torque arms and the sway bar mounts and things like that, but we'll get to those as time goes on. But I really wanted to get this assembled so I could finish it up and get it in paint as soon as possible, just because of the weather's turning fast out there. You can see The trees have done turned color. Terrible foliage year this year. Everything's just dead, brown, very dry. Anyway, back to this. So next thing I'm going to do is I will flip this upright again, finish up a few things. Then I've got some work to do on my jig. I'll take you along for that. Pretty easy stuff. Just got to put in a few strategic mounts for the rear end pieces and stuff like that, so that the next one of these I can build quicker and have confidence that I have it all straight. I mean, this will go a lot faster just knowing what I know now. And I want to reiterate, you do not need to build a jig like this to build this frame kit. It's very well thought out. If they provide you with enough pieces that you don't need to build a jig. But I'm old. I like to, roll things around so I can move stuff. And, just being able to move this in and out of the shop and rotate it so that I can weld on the bottom, do all those pieces, weld on the sides. I just weld better that way. So, yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, I like it. This rotisserie belongs to a friend of mine. I think I've owned it or had it longer than he had it at this point, but he doesn't want it sucking up room in his shop. He'll let me know when he needs it. It's one of those deals. Anyway, this shout out to Randy. Thank you very much. So yeah, I've got my ends capped up, my pieces on here. You can see that now there's no trash getting in the end of that. Yeah, got to go through my checklist now and just start working through what else I got to do. Once I get the frame jig complete, I'm going to mount the frame directly to the rotisserie at that point and take the jig out. So that's really it for today. That's my plan. I did make or design new bumper plates or bumper brackets. Those were because the body sits up an extra inch on this one. The regular bracket that was provided needed to move up an inch. But I just made some new ones. What else? Oh, I don't have the front sway bar mounts made yet. There's like a little pad that goes in here to pick up the front sway bar pivot points. And I'm waiting from Nerd Rods is going to send me the file so I can make those as well. Anyway, yeah, so far so good. Really impressed with this kit. It welds together nice. It's a good looking frame. It's very rugged. I mean, any place where, you could have stress, he's thrown in diamond plates. It's just well thought out. Anyway, and again, most of the stress is between the two wheels, right? So that's the important part to reinforce. I mean, you could argue that a plate in here wouldn't hurt, but we've already got gussets and everything up here and down here. So plating that off, probably not such a big deal. Anyway, and same thing said in the front, but, is what it is. So anyway, feeling good about it. I'm going to take in a little impromptu car show tomorrow with the Firebird. And then might get back to this tomorrow afternoon a little bit. So we will see. But this is where we're at today and feeling pretty good about it. Okay, so everything's welded up now. Chassis is pretty much complete. The next step I'm going to do is, next major step is complete and pick up all these points on my jig, which I will do in the next video. But for right now, I've also gone through and laid out some riv nuts for the gas tank here in the back. I've got a few strategic ground locations so I can get good grounds on the frame. And yeah, that's about it. I also took these holes up here that were parts of the alignment jig. I just put riv nuts in those too. That way I can use them to either mount grounds or whatever, and if I don't use them at all, I can just thread a 5/16 body bolt in it and plug it up. So, next thing I'm going to do, and the last thing for this video, is I'm going to drag out the TIG, and I'm just going to lightly TIG tack all these riv nuts in, because I hate it when a riv nut spins on you. So if I just go ahead and tack those in, they'll never be a problem. And this is a nice thing you can do before you paint. So yeah. After I get the jig all sorted out, then I'll mount the frame directly to the rotisserie, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And then I can go ahead and wire brush all the welds, double check everything, make sure there's no areas of porosity that I got to grind out. I think I got a couple little spots I've seen already. But yeah, that's basically it. I can clean up all the welds, and this frame is ready for paint. And yeah, that's about it. All right, just put a little tack on each one. Now those won't go anywhere. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the assembly of this frame. I still got to go through and clean welds and wire brush everything and do all that, but I won't do that until it's off the jig and probably just on the rotisserie by itself. So that's the next step, I guess, is to finish up the jig work, which will be next week. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and we'll see you next week.